Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another weekly book review. I'm Dr. Lisa L. Campbell, the Growth Motivator, and today I am reviewing a book by Dr. Uche Blackstock, Legacy, a Black physician's reckons with racism in medicine. A Black physician reckons with racism in medicine. So so much to say about this book. So, number one, once I started reading the book, I said, I wonder if Dr. Blackstock has this book on Audible. And she did. So I stopped reading the physical book, grabbed the audio book, and then listened and read simultaneously. And if you've watched any of my book reviews before, I do that quite frequently. I may not always say it, but I knew from the very first chapter that if there was an Audible book and that Dr. Blackstock, Uche Blackstock, and I have to say Uche because there's the mom who's no longer with us, as well as her sister Oni. And so I want to make sure that everybody is clear on which Blackstock I'm talking about. But I knew that if there was an Audible version of this book, that there was going to be some passion, some grit, some resilience, some perseverance that was going to come across in the audio book, and boy, it did deliver. So, as usual, if you have, watched my book reviews before, I do write, notes in my book. I do lots of underlining and highlighting, and so this book review is going to be a little different because it hits me right here. So, number one, if you know anything about me, you know that I started in healthcare as a medical assistant. And so, since 1992, I've been working elbow to elbow with physicians in some shape, form, or fashion. And I will fight you over a physician. Okay. I have a special place in my heart for Black physicians in particular because I know some of the struggles that they face because I have personal friends that are physicians. I have colleagues that are physicians, and I just know. I just know. So in Legacy, Dr. Blackstock discusses her experiences as a Black female. I should add that part in there too. Black female physician navigating the complexities of getting to the part of becoming a physician, as well as being a physician. Oh, and if Dr. Blackstock hears this video review, I would love to have you on my video podcast, 52 Authors, 52 Weeks. So let me talk about some key things. So, number one, Dr. Blackstock talks about her journey, her path from medical school to becoming a practicing physician, right? And in the book, she highlights some of the challenges posed by systemic racism, microaggressions, and the disparities in healthcare. And what I like about the book, what I love about the book, is that Dr. Blackstock throws in what I like to call empirical data to support her statements of fact in the book, right? And so she provides somewhat of a historical overview of racism in medicine. She talks about something such as the Flexner Report, which I remember in medical assisting school in 1992, I heard about the Flexner Report. Um, so she provides this historical overview of racism in medicine, right? From some of the unethical experiments on Black patients to ongoing today disparities in treatment and outcomes. She also talks about how this book can, in the book, she talks about in the book how racial biases, and I'm reading another book on biases, how they affect treatment decisions, health outcomes, and patients' trust in the healthcare system. And having worked in healthcare since 1992, I know these things to be true because I've seen them, right? So Dr. Blackstock goes beyond just the diagnosis of the patient's problem, right? She offers solutions to improve the system, such as the role of medical education reform, right? Policy change, community outreach. And despite all the heaviness that's in the book, Dr. Uche Blackstock provides a message of hope, resilience. On the back of the book, there are a couple of individuals that did some call outs regarding the book. And, you know, I, as usual, take notes, and I wrote a couple of my own. So her book, yes, was about her journey, but she talked about some of the personal aspects in terms of being a mom, being a wife, right? Being a friend. Okay. So here are some things that I took away. Always put yourself first. Something that her mom would say, take time to get your bearings together, right? Take care of you. She really, really, really accurately depicted the experiences of Black people. She also talked about burnout, knowing when it's time to move on. And that is something that I can personally identify with. And you've heard me say this before if you're following me. I encourage and help others to shed the weight that's holding them hostage. She talks about, I can't tell you everything that's in the book. Again, Dr. Uche Blackstock. I would love to interview you to talk more about this book. But she talked about a white patient would come into the room and say, "Where did you go to school?" And she replied, "Harvard." And they replied, "No, where did you go to medical school?" And then she repeated, "I went to Harvard." She's a graduate of Harvard Medical School. So I'm going to wrap up here because so many messages, so many emotions, resilience, perseverance, determination. Dr. Uche Blackstock, thank you for finding your voice. Thank you for speaking up, speaking out, and rest in peace to Mama Blackstock, because I know that she plays a huge role in everything that you and your sister, your twin sister, Oni, does. And I am appreciative of this read, and I hope to meet you one day in person. All right, everybody, as usual, there's a QR code for you to scan to get a copy of my book list. It is growing. So you could see I have books literally up to the ceiling here. I probably have now, I don't even know if they're all logged on my book list, right? I probably have about 400 books. And you're asking me, like, do you read these books? And somebody asked me that recently. So, I believe in showing people the receipts. So do I read these books? Absolutely. Do I read these books? Absolutely. I take notes in my books because I also date and time my books because I want to reflect on how was I feeling when I read the book? What point in life, right, was I at when I was reading this book? So, all right, guys, until next time.